Dailies today on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Good morning to you, Lagos. Welcome to the Dailies today, right from our studio here on Etimi and Crescent, Victoria Island, Lagos, Nigeria. It's thank God, I almost said what I'm seeing here.
What's that?
11:30.
I would have sent you back to bed.
Oh boy. It's 7:30 from our studios. Good morning to you, Lagos. I'm Sheriff Quadry.
And I'm Jimi Disu. Good morning.
You can watch us on Facebook and on YouTube. Nigeria Info 99.3 is how you can watch.
Permission, sir.
Yes, sir.
Permission, sir.
Yes, sir.
I have to wish my little laburo,
Okay.
who was born when I was in university.
Oh, wow. Look at the gap.
I didn't know my mom was. Mom was just, she wasn't feeling well for once, and they said, Madam, I like that. And bingo. There I was in uni.
Wow.
He's the one who I said when he wanted to, at home, they insisted that he speak English.
Yeah.
And so he held his PP and said, English. I'm going lotto. Happy birthday, Tosi. Happy birthday. Life is, life is now is practically just me, him, and my sister left. So anyway, happy birthday, Tosi.
Happy birthday, Mr. Tosi.
So there will be Jejemus and
Wemus. That's good. That's very, very good. Please forward the address. Where is he?
It shall be posted.
Okay, now let's start the show. We're gonna start with the Vanguard first. The Vanguard has a story on the front page, but it continues on page 12. Rivers Council Fubara Tinubu tells Niger Delta leaders. Okay, Abi, am I not reading it well?
Yes.
Okay.
It said the story says that Tinubu called on the Niger Delta leaders to counsel him to follow. He should obey to the letter the Supreme Court ruling. That's is being called in line, and that is his second yellow. The truth is, whether Fubara likes it or not, he has no option. He cannot even afford self-help, because if he tries self-help, the remedy is ready and waiting for him. So this was like his second yellow. And for the president to have said it means that the president has in his mind what he intends to do. And let me read this to you. So the story says here, I foresaw the crisis festering too long. Okay? And he said that I have seen what you have tolerated in the region. Community development is close to my heart. And he spoke about NDDC and Dr. Samuel Ogboko. Anyway, long and short of it is that he has told them to tell Fubara, because all kinds of threats are being made. Yeah, so he must toe the line. Much as I have that kind of soft support for Fubara, being the underdog in this case, but he's been conquered. If he falls out of line and anything happens, that place will be turned into a military zone and the military administrator will be appointed. I'm sure the president is ready to go that route. I am absolutely sure. So what should he do? Should he resign or should he wait to be impeached? Either which way, I can bet my $900 to your $1,000 that either which way, this time next year, Fubara won't be governor of Rivers State. It's a lost battle.
Yeah, you're so sure.
I'm so sure.
You don't think that can be,
unless there are compromises, and
exactly that's
the wicked people will not take any prisoners. It will be all or nothing. And look at it this way: this is an objective thing. I'm not saying that I support them. No.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that they're doing anything in the interest of the state. No, I'm just telling you, they have gotten this far, and they have the prize in their hands. by a Supreme Court. In fact, the president's hands, quote and unquote, are tied. No, whether there was influence or not is neither here nor there. This is where we are today. And so the president was making a veiled reference to some of the threats that were coming from the region. That is my reading of what's
happening.
And it says here, I foresaw the crisis. I like to pick words from people. Okay, I like to pick the words I foresaw. So this is where this thing is going. The president hasn't said anything until this Supreme Court ruling. Indeed, maybe this was the graph that was plotted. And now that they are there, it's so easy to stick to the rule of law in this regard. That's where the cookie crumbles. So we will see where all this will go. Already yesterday there were reports that some of Fubara's staff or whatever, some of these people have reported at the assembly. Politics is about self-interest.
It's people, as in
I think
the commissioners.
No, I think the commissioner who are part of LASIEC or RISIEC or their
the RISIEC people.
Okay. Yes. For some of them, things are going to change. Fubara's telephone, there'll be less volume of the rings you'll be hearing these days because that's what's going to happen. And the APC people are threatened anyway that he has to go.
I like to get your thoughts on another development, similar development from Rivers State. Peter Odili was governor 1999 to 2007. EFCC had wanted to investigate him when he left office, but he went to court, and the Federal High Court gave a perpetual injunction, even though at the time we all criticized the fact that, that's just more like an aberration. Why would you say that the FCC or any government agency shall never investigate Peter Odili, for what he did during his tenure? And that had been like that for a very long time until this week, until recently when Peter Odili and Wike fell out. And then they now operate from opposite ends. Now, this week, we are hearing that the Supreme Court has nullified that, or whatever term that the legal people use, overturned that particular injunction so that EFCC can now go and investigate Peter Odili.
Yes.
And from the feelers that we're getting in Rivers, they are accusing the minister of being behind this particular injunction, this particular move. And then from the feelers from Rivers is like Wike would rather hold on to Rivers politics and Rivers Commonwealth, or nobody will know peace in Rivers.
Everything in life is turn by turn. And the way the cookie crumbles, only God knows. At the time when that so-called injunction was given, which has been given various legal interpretations, we thought it would last forever. Surely the good Lord is not going to sit down and watch people get away with all kinds of things. So as far as I'm concerned, I can't say this thing on radio. It's too sensitive, I tell you quietly. It's in Yoruba. As far as I'm concerned, I don't have any sentiments towards any of them. Because at the end of the day, bottom line is not about the people, it's about them. I was in Abuja. My friend was running for presidency. My late friend, Vice Admiral Ahigbe, was running, and he's my very good friend. Very, very good friend. He's dead now. God bless his soul. And I had a fair idea of what went on in the primaries that produced Yaradua. You see, this thing about somebody being very strong in politics, it all boils down to resources. Some of the powerful men that you see emerging in national politics, there are people who are worse off for it. their people are worse off for it. By the way, which Odili are you talking about? Is it the same one whose wife was in the Supreme
Peter
Court?
Odili, yes.
Whose wife was
yes.
Oh,
yes.
okay. I just wanted to be sure that
Yes.
that is the Odili they're talking about. So that will tell you something. By the way, the rider to the other story, back to the river story, is that I'm committed to implementation of the Supreme Court judgment for Bara.
Yes, I was going to ask you that question when
yes.
you said the president. So, I mean, I was at a loss when I read that story. That was why I was asking, am I not reading this well? Because I never saw Fubara, not trying to obey the rule.
It's to preempt him.
Or maybe we're missing something here.
No, it's to preempt him. He made one quick statement a few days ago. I've forgotten the statement, but deferring to some of the various...
when it's time to make a decision.
He will, yes. And the same story here says that rivers will boil if Fubara is impeached, Group 1. Now, the thinking in the federal camp, let me use the word federal camp, is that these groups, of course, could be funded by him. So this is to prepare his mind, just in case. Just in case he's thinking otherwise. The way I'm going is that if there's what you call PIN, you know what you call PIN there, I'm sure a military administrator is on standby who will take over that state. Because River State is the most important state in Nigeria.
Yes, you can say that again.
And it is to this president's credit that we've been able to have some relative peace in that region. You have to give him that credit. So nobody's going to mess around with all that.
Okay.
It is sad, and I'm not in support. God sees my soul. But it is what it is. It is what it is.
Let's go to page 6 of the Vanguard. EFCC uncovers 58 Ponzi schemes targeting Nigerians.
Okay, this is just that this story came a bit too early, but so be it. This is just for you to know. Please be on the lookout for these various schemes. Come and invest in property. Come and invest in Disu. Come and invest in all these things. There is no easy money to be made in this world. I'm always at dog with my friends who invest in all these various things. Sometimes what happens to you is you could make 3, 4, 5 investments. It's on the 6th one that they will go in for the kill.
Yeah.
Keep your money safe.
They lure you in.
Lure you in. There is no easy money anywhere. I keep telling people, life is not. If life had been that easy, I would have been a multi-billionaire, but I'm happy the way I am. Okay, so EFCC have discovered 58 Ponzi schemes. 58 Ponzi schemes so far targeting Nigerians. So you better be very careful.
Yes, indeed. Now let's head back to the National Assembly. This story reads: Akpoti Uduaghan takes case against Akpabio to UN IPU. I
saw this at 3 a.m. and I haven't slept since then. I was frightened. And there she was presenting her case to the United Nations. This thing has now been expanded. It has now become a national problem. Guess what? She gave her story, which was true, that she complained about sexual harassment in return. This was what she got. Okay? Nigeria has to be very, very careful. Let us hope that Miranda doesn't see the need to follow suit. Because the question I want to ask you is, if Miranda, the erstwhile speaker in Lagos, had she been a man, would she have been treated in that same way? We need to be very, very careful and sensitive as a people, the way we handle our things, the way we handle ourselves. And we need to understand that it's not about what you perceive of people, it is the issue on ground. The issue now is that Nigerians are not handling female or women matters with the sensitivity that it deserves. And it serves us right, because it is true. It is true. And I've always said that you need one good example to let every other person fall in line. If Miranda were to follow suit and head in the same direction, then we'll know we're in real trouble. The trouble is not for the country per se, but one thing I can tell you is that this issue is not going to go down. It has become an issue now. It is now even beyond the National Assembly. Okay? And I would plead that, a quiet resolution to be found that will satisfy everybody before it blows up. I ask you again, Sheriff, if Miranda had been a man, do you think she could have been handled the same way that she was handled?
Maybe worse.
Maybe worse.
Yes. I'm very sure about it.
Yeah, wait a minute.
I mean,
If
what
she had been...
what it did to, what the party did to Ambode was worse than this. This was a child's play.
Yeah, but they didn't give. All they did was deny Ambode a ticket. She was already the speaker. They pushed her to the wall to resign.
They didn't just deny him; they humiliated him. That was a humiliation of a sitting governor.
So you don't think because Miranda was a woman?
No, not at all. It's just how the party operates.
Well, that's your interpretation.
Yes. I own that interpretation.
Well,
yes.
because of this, and so that we know we are brothers, twin brothers, I'll align with you. But the world might not see it that way. That would be a coincidence. You see, perception is the most dangerous thing.
Especially because it's now happening.
Yes. Perception is very dangerous. It's worse than reality. Because perception can grow various. It's like an octopus. It can grow various hands.
I agree.
So we need to be extra sensitive with the way we do our things. I must say though, Natasha, she made what I would call a very good. That woman is brilliant. She made a very brilliant submission, and I do feel sorry for Akpabio, because one day he won't be Senate president, and I want to see which part of the world he wants to go for as much as a holiday.
Do you think for the very first time in a long while, I haven't witnessed, that's why I'm using the word very carefully, in a long while, we would see a senator being recalled by a constituent?
It could be worse than that. It could, if this issue is not handled properly, especially for the Senate president, it could be worse than that. It could end up being worse than that even for him. So that by the time he even wants to withdraw, he would probably just walk out himself. Gender issues, like religious issues, are very sensitive in the world. That's why I like the first sentence she said. She said, I'm not doing this to ridicule my country. Because I felt so small as a Nigerian when she said what she did. That just because she talked about sexual harassment, not only like Chief Egunlewe said, you said she should not parade herself as a senator. She should not. You recovered her security detail, exposing her to danger. When you should have doubled it, so that people don't think. You understand what I'm saying? We need deep thought. Otherwise, the Senate president, no, don't withdraw her security detail. We don't want anything to happen. If I double it. So if you were to follow that, she shouldn't come anywhere near the office. I mean, come on. And it's difficult to convince me at the end of the day that some certain persons didn't have something to hide in all this.
We have a topic on I Beg to Differ in the semifinals is tomorrow, Thursday. And one of the topics is that Nigerian female politicians are often oppressed by their male counterparts.
How can you have only 3 women in the National Assembly, in the Senate? That tells you something.
I think it's shameful.
It tells you something. A country that in the past has had the likes of Mrs. Fumilayo and some Kuti, Elsie Femi Pierce, powerful women.
I think it's really, really shameful.
Powerful women. Look, at the other day we had a female senator of note going almost into fisticuffs with a member.
Yep. We all saw that.
And let's be honest, in our daily life, thank God my mother taught me very early that women must be respected. I had been taught very early, even the way we relate to them, the way we talk to them, all that is going to be brought down to the barest minimum from now on. Just sit back and watch it happen.
On a lighter note, I was thinking yesterday.
Be careful with the lighter note.
Wait.
Let's go on a darker note. On a lighter note.
I was thinking that, on radio, you can't really say much, things that you want to say.
If you heard the phrase that I wanted to say in Yoruba when the river state, should I whisper it to you? Come, let me tell you.
They'll hear it. Oh, wow.
Benny. That's what I wanted to say. I hope the mic didn't pick that.
No, it didn't pick it. Oh, boy.
Nobody, anybody who has an idea of what I told you, the person go weak self.
Oh, boy. Let's go to page 10. There's this story here. It's a disturbing story. Diphtheria at King's College, parents worried as Lagos begins vaccination.
Here we go again. It was this kind of story that made me an honorary member of Queen's College Old Girls. I became an honorary member, found myself on their mailing list until I called their attention because they had this same experience. The thing is, apart from our attitude to institutions and our children, it is disgraceful that you would have in a school of note that there is something called, there's a disease called diphtheria. I don't know what it is for the life of me, which claimed the life of a 12-year-old student. Okay? And well, I'm wondering in the first place, I hope the school has been shut down. But it says yesterday that our good friend, the Commissioner for Health, paid a visit. He personally paid a visit to the school to address the students and emphasize the importance of personal and environmental hygiene, urging them to adopt proper hand-washing habits. I hope there's no scarcity of water. You see, I haven't been to King's College in a long while, but I hope they don't have the same kind of water problems that they had in Queen's College way back. And he says, Abayomi said that he was sent by the governor. Thank God, governor. Governor, as they are sending Dr. Abayomi to whatever, will you please send the Minister Commissioner for Transport to take a ride along the marina and the Cove Bridge?
At night.
At night. By the way, I've been told you can send your bill for your car damage that you told. I've told him I'm going to send the bill to him.
Oh,
yes,
really?
Yes. Bring it.
My mechanic did not give me invoice.
He did not give you a quote. He will be frightened where he is now. Won't you know? You say, now. But anyway, back to the issue at hand. The government is on top of it. I would advise that you close the school down at least for a week or so to make sure you fumigate and get the whole place. And it says that 34 contacts have been placed on observation. But I don't know, and where's Dr. Ayeni, what is diphtheria? I wonder, is there anything here? There's nothing here that tells us what but the parents of King's College have asked the children and wards to shun school, that they shouldn't go to school. Anyway, we still have that going on.
Yeah. Okay. Let's take this editorial in the Vanguard newspaper on invasion of IKDC by Air Force men. This. Okay,
that's the invasion by the IKDC men. The Vanguard strongly condemns the action of the officers. The Vanguard described it as an unconscionable and a brazen display of indiscipline. It portrayed the Air Force and our armed forces in a bad light. It was a criminal act that must be properly investigated and those behind it properly punished, no matter how highly placed they are. So the Vanguard editorial totally condemns the invasion of IKEDC by the Air Force men. But again, I'd like to call on our leaders to behave in a responsible manner. They probably took a cue, of course, from the ugly incident that we had in the House of Assembly earlier on. These things have a ripple effect. The same thing. That's why we are harping on. It's not supporting Natasha that one is doing, but supporting our women. And I've told people, journalism today goes beyond preparing a balanced story. Sometimes responsibility demands that you take a stand. And in this case, we stand with our women. If you don't, you have no choice. If you don't have a wife or or even if you have a bit of a risky whatever, you have a mother. I've not heard of anybody who says that his father is his mother.
His mother. No, I've not heard.
Why is it?
I haven't heard that too. The Guardian is next. Court grants bail to Zion's false testimony lady.
I like this case going on, and I have, there was a 32-year-old lady, Loveth Alo Helen, who made a false testimony at Zion Prayer Movement Outreach in Lagos. She had given a testimony that she bought a house and this and that, only for people to discover. The social media is terrible. When I mean terrible, I mean in that sense, they discovered that she's still selling puff and all these little things. It was a false testimony. There are loads of them. In Anambra State now, Anambra State has banned public preaching. I hope all other states will follow suit. We need to regulate the practice of religion. It's done a lot of damage, honestly. But I'm glad. I want to see where this is going to end. And hopefully we'll make a few more examples and then we'll have a bit of sanity in our religious space. However, she has pleaded not guilty and she's been admitted to bail for 1 million naira.
Yes, indeed. We have to go. Lagos, this has been interesting this morning. What's coming up at...
it's more interesting.
Who is coming?
It's Diabomi now.
Who is coming?
Who is coming?
Okay.
Papa's wife is coming.
When will Papa come?
Papa did a G. Papa not awake on time.
I mean, it will be fun to have him.
No, Papa married you. He can't. He say, if you call him as a Moalori bed, please. That's very easy.
Wow. It's all right. It's good. Lagos, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. We're back at 9 for Daily Digest. That's the Diabomi edition. So we now have to hand you back now to Kofi Battels on the Morning Crossfire. Please do stay with us on the Morning Crossfire.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.